had to go with Suntzu too, and we just featured him last round.
Okay.
But I think it'll be all right. We'll get to see this nice new deck that Callum's bringing to us here.
Okay. And both these players are 4-0, I'm assuming.
That is correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've got to stay with the undefeated ones.
Sounds good to me.
It's like we've been saying that, for each round, technically, I guess, and statistically, the opponent is getting better and better because you're facing people who's gone, undefeated.
Yep, as the rounds go on, we get more and more interesting games. So it looks like red versus blue here.
I feel like I've heard that before somewhere.
Red versus blue. Yeah.
But I'm guessing that Callum is probably going to be on a red-yellow control list, but this could very easily be mono-red.
Okay.
I guess alternatively this could be red-blue still, but Grimguard would be a pretty strange selection for that deck.
I would love to see something that is not red and blue after these 2 days of spectating.
So Grimguard is the Harvester as the opener for Callum. Suntzu can harvest with a Triton Warrior if he wants to. Probably going to happen, right?
Seems most likely at this point. He could be playing the Imperial Judge, but usually you want to save that selection for a little bit later. And it will be the Triton
Is there a
Warrior.
specific point to play it so far back, though?
Well, it has jump. So
it's more that there's not a reason to play it too far up. I guess you could argue that he could draw into an Aurora or something like that and want to trade off for this Grimguard right away.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good... That's a good point. Yeah, if he put it one space forward, he'd be in range of the Grimguard.
Yeah, the only reason I see is what he just did. I was gonna say that maybe he's like, well, like just like that. That was the other thought.
To have the option to harvest from the other well and still put pressure on this well.
Because with jump he does have the reach.
Yep.
Sure,
makes sense.
And it looks to be what he was thinking too.
You definitely want to keep the flexibility as much as you can with these blue decks, just to make use of all the options that they have.
And also something to think about, it puts him out of range of Bomb Slingers. 4 health is something you want to keep in mind against red. Bomb Slingers are going to come out and ruin your day, and it just so happens Callum has one in hand, so it actually worked out really well for him.
Yeah, and that could come down as early as next turn if that frog doesn't move. Or sorry, is a Triton technically a frog? I don't know.
It's a frog person,
Okay. I'm not fully up with the lore on this game yet.
It's a frog person. It's a Kappa, I would say.
I mean, they're not frogs. They're not frog people, but frogs are frogs because frogs do exist in the game. Just play Battletoads.
All right, so it looks like this is going to be a great opportunity for Bomb Slinger to come down. We might even just see Suntzu's board get cleared depending on what else he plays here.
It could also be Groundshaker Cypher's Wrath on the next turn. Groundshaker Cypher's Wrath on the Ancient Herald, which takes the Gabriel Cistern down. To prevent that mana.
Okay.
It's awkward it's awkward in the spectator view when they're picking between 2 options actually.
Groundshaker looks really good right now, and also maybe even Bomb Slinger next to the
Relic Tower in this one.
He does have the option to play both of them. So we could see Groundshaker, Bomb Slinger, Cypher's Wrath, clearing out everything except for that Cistern.
Yeah, he has to use the Bomb Slinger to kill the Cistern if he wants to get rid of it. He has no way to deal direct damage to structures. Cypher's Wrath has to be a creature, so he's going to let the Cistern live for a turn. It's not a big deal, though. It's not going to end up netting him any Faeria, I think, because it'll probably die next turn.
He's dropping the Relic Tower, so he's at least going to be able to remove the Cistern after next turn, just using that.
Right, yeah.
But this is the first time we see the Relic Tower so far in the spectated games of these 2 qualifiers.
It's a pretty powerful card, often overlooked, too. Like, the structures in general, I think, are often overlooked. Derelict Tower might be the best of them, of all 4 colors, but in control decks it goes so far. There's so much work.
Just being able to break up that 1 damage is basically just a kind of impromptu mini Groundshaker anytime you need it. And 1 damage can be really hard to deal in this game. Falcon Dive is really one of the few things that does it effectively. But this tower is like 3 Falcon Dives all built into 1.
Yeah, it's a Falcon Dive generator, really.
Maybe we should call it a Crow generator instead.
Oh, I don't think you may be biased there.
Maybe a little bit.
So Suntzu is in range of the orb for the first time this game. He could knock it in the face this turn if he'd like.
He could. It looks like he's going to choose to use the Frogify here and trade into the Groundshaker. This does make Callum kind of choose which one he wants to deal 1 damage to. But with this Cypher's Wrath in hand, I imagine he's probably going to Cypher's Wrath the creature and take out the Derelict Tower, or use the Derelict Tower to take out the Cistern.
Right, he's hoping that he's giving Callum 2 choices because you can only use the Derelict Tower once. So he's like, okay, choose which one you want to hit. But unfortunately, it doesn't matter because Callum just has Cypher's Wrath, so he doesn't care.
So I'm really liking the look of this deck from Callum. I mentioned that I thought it was going to be a blue-yellow, but it doesn't seem like that's the case at all. It just seems like a mono-red, sort of vicious style burn deck.
Wait, did you say you expected it to be blue-yellow?
Sorry, red-yellow.
Cypher's Fodder is something you don't really see often in red decks, I think. Usually people choose to run the Kobold, the 5/4 Kobold, just to have more board presence. This is a more burny type card. You don't really see this very often. So
well, it seems like his deck so far seems to be one of those. Do you call them vicious? I'm not sure what the word is for this, but burn face, yeah. Pain.
Yeah, traditionally, traditionally it's called vicious control, and this is kind of what he's doing. Oh my god, he mirror phantasmed it, so he's really concerned about the burn that much. He's at 13 health, so it makes sense, but he still takes 4 damage to the face.
Right.
So he hit himself 2 damage.
Getting hit in the face here. I think using the Derelict Tower on face is probably a good play here. Yeah, and there it is.
Yeah.
That'll just put him on a 2-turn clock pretty much no matter what.
It's just
and he has to deal with his Grimguard too.
Chipping away with all this indirect damage. It's refreshing to see this far in a qualifier like this. I wish we spectated this guy earlier. But how do you pick a guy when there's like 190 people starting out?
Look, he's going all in the burn. It's so surprising to me that he didn't even bomb slinger the 4/4. Like he totally could have done it, just removed it from the field. He's like, no, I'll play my Grimguard and do more damage to you.
But also saves the tower.
Yeah, it does. Well, I mean he would have killed the mirror phantasm. Yeah. But it does prevent, basically it opens him up to an Aurora play, but I'm not even concerned. He wouldn't even be concerned about that because there's 4 damage next to his orb right now. That's like the big deal right now. And he needs to deal with that.
And the 2 damage from the Grimguard plus the 1 from the tower and the 1 from the Ground Shaker would be enough for at least.
You know what I want to see? I want to see Unbound Evolution on the Mirror Phantasm next to his orb, hoping that it becomes a golem.
That might be what we see here.
No.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's
okay. That's not going to help him out.
But that's what I would have probably. Yeah, and he gave up. So he gambled
rolled the
on
dice.
Yep.
Rolled the dice on the unexpected evolution and didn't get what he wanted, and said, "Okay, I'm done." Burn! Wow, that was quick.
Yeah. So that mono red deck really showing its strength right there.
So I'm kind of getting the feeling he's probably going to keep that red deck, and Suntzu might switch because I really feel like that was a really poor matchup for Suntzu. So Suntzu at least. Go ahead.
Oh. I've mentioned this a couple times on the stream in the past, but bringing some kind of deck like this that no one's really expecting really gives you a big advantage, especially if you've been playing it, on the ladder and that sort of thing. Because you know your matchups really well. You know what you're good against, what you're bad against. But your opponents might not have as much experience with this. They don't know how to counter you, what decks you're bad against, that sort of thing.
And this is the point in the tournament where opponents might be aware of what each other has been running. So, like if Suntzu is only running this blue deck, then it's up to him to come up with the answer to it. And Callum can just sit back comfortably and play the red deck over and over until, Suntzu beats it. So, okay, so Suntzu has switched to green.
Yeah, but it looks like it's probably going to be a mono green feed the
Callum
forest
is sticking
maybe
with
a blue
his
green,
with his deck.
Yep, so Callum didn't switch, and Suntzu's trying to answer it. It depends. I don't really know what to think. Oh, he's going to mulligans. Let's see what else he has. Okay, that's what I want to see. Yep, he needs big stompy things. Like, I really think Callum's going to have a tough time against big stompy stuff with mono red. There's no hard removal, really, in mono red, unless he's running Death Touch, so that's a good answer. And he has the Verdant Force.
Mm-hmm.
On some level, he doesn't even really need to remove the creatures, though. He just needs to stall them. And things like this Cypher's Fodder and the Grimguards will just slowly chip away at Suntzu. So honestly, I don't know if this green deck really has that good of a matchup, but he does probably have Runin's commands. I think we saw at least one so far.
I almost want to
say very important
that what Suntzu should do now is to actually rush.
Yes.
I mean, he's building towards the well. Maybe he'll take one well and then go to face, but he really needs to just go for his opponent, not let him get time to set down and get any type of board control at all, and that will just lock down this red vicious deck definitely.
I completely agree with you. You said it before I could. I think the right move here is just to go to the face with a Verdant Force and have him deal with that. Mm-hmm. He's playing it really slow, and it opens him up to more risks. Like, you put the question of a Verdant Force next to your opponent's orb, Red has a tough time answering that, and you're going to get value just from playing that card. And then you can worry about harvesting afterwards if you want to. But the first play, to me, I think Verdant Force is just so
Because with
good.
green having these big creatures, and especially against this type of red deck, definitely, just like we're saying here, go straight face, get a big Verdant Force just down there. Then you can basically harvest from the Faeria wells that is closest to your opponents. You can basically get those under control for yourself.
I mean, what happens? He knows he runs Grimguard. So what happens if you put a Grimguard next to the Oakling? That's 4 damage potentially you're going to take in burn just from that. And the Oakling doesn't even die from it. So
a lot more than 4. That's actually 6 just to kill the Oakling.
Right. So if it happens, if it happens all 3 times, that's 6 damage. So, I mean, that's not going to happen because he doesn't have the Grimguard in hand. But he does have a lot of things that would really punish playing this Oakling. It didn't happen this time, but it could have.
Yeah, but advancing this Oakling is a pretty dangerous proposition. We might see the Verdurn Force come down right here, and we do, just to protect against that sort of thing that could still happen.
And that's a couple turns late, but it's there.
Yeah.
It's not really late. I mean, compared to what could have been, but
hey,
it's there now.
Next turn he can drop another Verdurn Force.
Right.
This is where the Force Train just starts coming.
And you got to ask yourself, what did that Oakling give him now? So now it's in the back of his line. He's harvested 1 time, and he'll harvest again. So it'll cost 2 at that point. So I guess in maybe another turn after his next one, the Oakling will have been worth playing. But, the alternative, putting the Verdant Forest right next to his face, how much different of a game would that be? Like, that's the significance of these opening rounds, I think. And I don't know, maybe I just see the game differently than a lot of people do. These players are 4-0, so, yeah.
In this case, I think the Verdurn Force probably would have taken 4 damage from that Cypher Spotter, and then 3 damage from the Blazing Salamander. So I don't think it would have been a massive difference, but I think the second Verdurn Force is what we really need to look at. I think it could have gotten a lot of damage in.
Yeah, I mean, you keep putting question after question from big stompy green things on the field. Any deck has problems with that. Some decks enjoy that, but a lot of decks have a really tough time with it, and Mono Red is definitely going to be one of those. It lacks hard removal, unless you put it in there, which I haven't seen yet in his deck.
Now, at the same time, since you're mentioning those massive creatures, maybe he did just want to develop the Oakling for that reason instead. Because if that Oakling dies, then you suddenly have another massive creature and another one for the Oakling after that. So just getting those Oaklings going now as opposed to later means he's more likely to get use out of them, as opposed to if the Oakling comes down 4 or 5 turns from now, then it might not be in time to actually make use of its buff.
And I'm even more confused because he just moved it backwards instead of moving. You want to move it towards the front. You want your Oakling to die. You want it to be removed to buff something, but he's like, no, I'll just give him the back. I mean, the red player is not going to remove that. He's not going to. First of all, he can't. There's no 5 damage red spell.
But
so.
Here comes the next Verdurn. I'm 100% sure.
I think you're very right.
you wouldn't bet against that.
Now, the danger here is that he's going to be playing right into Blazing Salamander. That Salamander's going to get 6 damage off here.
I like how he took so long to think about, should I attack this guy and take 2 damage?
So Salamander plus Firebomb will actually clear up both of these forces at this point.
That is certainly what I see to be the best play. He could Bomb Slinger, right? He does have the Faeria. Oh no, he can't because he just built his land, so now he can't.
Right. But Firebomb is perfectly fine here. I think it's still the play.
So now the game went on long enough to where Callum had the tools necessary to deal with
he also has 2 Faeria wells that he's gathering from starting next turn, and even have gather from 1. Like, yeah, honestly, I think if Suntzu just went face, this would have been a different game.
I can't agree more.
I think I do actually disagree a little bit there, because this Bomb Slinger effectively trades 1-for-1 with the Verdurn Force, and I think Callum would have probably taken a little bit of damage, but I don't think that it would be as massive of a swing as you guys are saying. I think he has the tools to deal with it if his opponent tries to rush him like that.
However, Mug to take that Salamander though.
Does he have the Faeria? Yeah.
He had the option before he built the prairies.
Yeah, I think that's way too risky, though. Against this sort of red deck, you know that he's almost certainly going to have an answer for that. Whether it's a Cypher's Wrath or Bomb Slinger, there's just so many removal spells in red. I think that's too risky of a play to make.
All right.
I don't think you play the Magda against this deck unless you for certain have the Feed the Forest in your hand. So I don't think we're going to see a Magda at all until Feed the Forest is drawn, which means it's 1 less Feed the Forest to use on an Oakling, And the Oakling's just going to continue to sit there. I'm just going to keep harping on this Oakling the whole game.
Yeah,
until it dies.
that Oakling took the wrong turn.
No, it's harvesting, granted. This is what you want to harvest. You want to use your Ancient Boar to do some harvesting, which I guess it's going to do here. But like that's what you want to have in the back lines, away from combat, or you can do other things with it too. Yeah, that's where you put the Oakling.
Took him a few
When
turns.
this Grimguard is right here, though, is this going to be a problem? I think with the
Potentially.
Caretaker in hand, he's probably going to be able to deal with it. But we were just talking about how good Grimguard is against these low-power creatures.
But also for each interaction here, Suntzu is losing life. Like that's the beauty of this red deck.
And I haven't seen any life gain in Suntzu. He could certainly have Breath of Life or Runan's Command. I expect one of the two. Usually if you run green, mono green, which it seems, you're going to have one of the two life gain things, so that's really good against Burn.
Yeah,
So
especially
he could feel...
Runan's Command. Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
that option to pump or gain life. So it's yeah, that's a given in a deck like this. I would say at least two of them.
And so knowing that's in your deck, that could make him feel more comfortable. He's not really too worried about the Burn, assuming that it's in there.
Yep.
And Bomb Slinger
That
plus
Derelict
Derelict
Tower is doing so much work. It's beautiful. I'm glad we're seeing some of this.
Yeah. Derelict Tower, really, really good. Both games now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we are in a situation where if Suntzu draws something like a Therian Golem, Callum could be in a lot of trouble. Because he doesn't have any way to deal with anything that big. And usually this Feed the Forest deck runs something massive like that. If not a Therian Golem, then at least a Grove Guardian.
And notice he's not attacking the Oakling. He's like, I don't want to kill that. Just leave it there. I don't care about that.
And he can afford at least one damage to his orb if that is what he wants to do with that Oakling. But isn't this where he would Tiki and Runing Command maybe the Oakling then?
Yeah, I mean, you have to Tiki the Oakling here, I think, at least.
To make...
get rid of...
Oh, to get rid of something? Or to hit face?
No. I think you have to go for control at this point. I think you have to get rid of that Bomb Slinger. I guess if you Runins as well, you could kill the Salamander and Harvest. That might be better too. Well, he only has 4 Faeria, so no, he can't do both. It has to just be the Tiki. I would say. What he really wants right now is a Freedom Fighter to get buffed by the Oakling. Worst case scenario, Magda gets hit by the Oakling. That'd be really bad. So that's something actually.
He's not playing at all like I want him to play. That the Oakling in the left corner now. Like he should have just started moving forward. I guess this is a way of going forward, because I still agree that needs to die for him to get value. Like you said, the Freedom Fighter buff would be amazing. He wants both Oaklings to die. So, yeah, I don't know.
Oakling is such a tempo loss. Sorry to interrupt you. It's when you play Oakling, you lose tempo. So until that Oakling dies, you're not going to gain that tempo back. And you generally either play the Oakling and feed the forest it right away, or you play it in a different situation. Like, I mean, I know we're probably going on way too long about this Oakling thing, and he may have a completely different line of play in mind that we don't think about. But these Oaklings basically represent tempo loss. He has 10 Faeria of tempo loss on the field right now, and he's gaining nothing from it other than a little bit of Faeria in the back, which he could have used another unit for. I guess that's basically it.
Hashtag the Oakling is trending on Twitter right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be.
Alright, offensive mountain.
And now we see a ground shaker.
Yeah, I guess that's
right next to the face. Actually. Now Suntzu has to answer Callum's questions. It could have been the other way around completely, but now it's not.
Now he is capable of suiciding this Oakling into the Bomb Slinger, and in this situation, I actually think it's fine if it buffed Magda. You went back to your point a little before. You said that you didn't think it'd be too good if Magda got buffed. But if Magda becomes a 5/7, Callum's deck doesn't really have a good way to deal with
Freedom Fighter 8/8.
You hit the Freedom Fighter, but yeah, I agree with you. But it did happen to hit the Freedom Fighter. That's what you want. This is the money right here. 8/8 haste for 5. Okay.
That's
easily gonna deal with this ground shaker.
Any harvest with it.
Yeah.
All right.
I was a little bit skeptical when he just passed the turn last round, but it seems to be working out for him. And now he can Tiki and Runa's Command this Oakling and get in against this Salamander. I think that's the play here too, because then you can develop the forward Tiki and threaten the Bomb Slinger with it.
So I'm trying to think if it had not hit that Freedom Fighter, it would have hit the Tiki or the Magda. If it hit the Tiki, I think he could have played Freedom Fighter and then Tiki'd the Freedom Fighter and killed the ground shaker with 1 health left. Oh my gosh, he's buffing his Oakling.
Yeah, he does not want to lose that Oakling.
This is your Oakling. It's okay though. I mean, now it actually did something though. I mean, now it was a tool on the field and he buffed it, and now it has presence. And there still is tempo hidden within that unit. Once that unit dies, he's gonna get it back, and it's not gonna. That won't ever go away because he's playing red. He's not gonna be transformed. He will always have those last words. So.
Joke is in Twitch chat. He's very happy. Callum is running Derelict Tower.
Oh, is the joke that he's a fan of the Derelict Tower? I'm a fan of Derelict
Wait,
Tower.
how? He's like the
Joke
made that work. Don't you remember the?
Oh,
he
was
made like
he
a
one
whole.
of the first guys?
Yeah, he made one of those.
Oh yeah, he had a video about it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he did a whole
Joke's gonna be
stream thing about it.
That's
Like
right.
he was. Yeah.
When we were casting the show match last week, he loved the look of Hitler's mono red control deck. So I think he just has a bias towards mono red in general.
Dude, Derelict Tower. He struggled a few patches ago to make a whole deck based around the Derelict Tower, and he made it work, and it was quite fun. That's why.
So how do you deal with this Grimguard? Are you just gonna give up the ghost and say, well, I guess I lose my Tiki here?
I mean, what else can you do? His best play is really Ethereum Golem. Does he have 5? He has to make a force to play Ethereum Golem. So if he gets rid of the Tiki now, if he just runs the Tiki into the face, he can play the Ethereum Golem next to the orb. I think that might be best.
Okay.
He is going to take 3 damage.
Ethereum going down there. Okay.
I guess this way, it forces the Grimguard to take the action on the Tiki, and he doesn't have to waste his turn. Like now, before the Grimguard had the option of doing something. Now, if it wants to kill the Tiki, it has to spend its turn doing that. So that's kind of
additionally,
significant.
you're not locking down the Therian Golem by playing it into a Taunt Eater this way.
Yeah.
If he wants to lock down the Therian Golem, he has to move his Grimguard probably in range of the Oakling if he still wants to be able to kill the Tiki Caretaker.
Oh, you're right. I think that's what he.
Complex creature path, but
I think that's what you're thinking. Yeah, because you're exactly right. If he moves into range of the Therian Golem, the Oakling can clear, and then he can move the Therian Golem, clear the bombs. Oh yeah, I think you're exactly in line with what he's thinking.
Do you think people have missed or over what do you say, overwatched, like, because we haven't seen this type of red mono deck in quite a while in the meta. Do you think with the the last couple of changes to the meta and everything that people just missed the fact that this is back in style?
I wouldn't even call it in style. I think this is the only time we've seen it.
I think
back in style that it's actually good and people have just overwatched, like they missed it, like they missed the fact that this works.
I think it's really easy to sneak up on people right now because everyone has it in their mind that only a couple decks work, and I really don't think that's the case. Like blue-red, everybody talks about blue-red.
Yeah.
Blue-red is you can easily work against blue-red, and then people think mono-green, you can easily work against mono-green. I think there are a lot of ways to surprise people right now in the current meta, and I think it's happening a lot, and I think we've seen a lot too in this tournament.
Yeah, especially these red decks. It just seems like red's a very powerful color right now. Because we not only have the mono red option, but we saw Cappuccino yesterday playing a red-yellow control list. So there are still definitely plenty of viable options, and Cappuccino did pretty well yesterday with it too.
He's down to 7 now, though. Suntzu.
It's a concern. He does have the Runes command, in hand, and he's probably going to have to use that for life. Almost certainly, I'd say at this point. He had to waste one earlier, didn't he? Am I correct in that? Yeah. So he has. With it. Yeah, so 2 left, and we don't know if he runs Breaths of Life.
Oh yeah, he took life.
Yep. I think you almost have to.
Just to be
and
safe.
then you can grow Guardian.
Callum would be 1 damage off lethal if he hadn't done that.
But that Oakling is,
And guess who's coming to the show? Guess who's coming to the front lines? How many turns later? It's Big Daddy 6/6 Oakling, and I want to say right now that Oakling gets the killing blow on the calendar. I think Oakling adds up to lethal.
So you're favoring Suntzu to win right now?
Hashtag the Oakling.
You're putting me in a hard spot making me make that call. But I think right now we have to see what's going to happen. So does he Cypher's Wrath the 8/1?
Twitch chat is like threats are called questions.
Same word, same thing, same concept.
I don't know if you really need to Cypher's Wrath the 8/1 here.
But if you don't, you lose that face damage. Is that... And also, though, if you play Cypher's Wrath, you can't play your Taunt, your Grimguard. Has he used a power yet this turn? Did he get Faeria or a land? I didn't see. but you also kind of want to play the Grimguard maybe because you're actually worried about losing the game right now. Oh, you can Cypher's Wrath the 5/6/2. That's another option.
Callum hasn't done anything yet. If you were talking about like land or such.
Okay, okay.
You can see in the bottom right the wheel.
Oh, you're right, right. So he's not going to kill. Sorry to interrupt. He's not going to kill the 5/6 then. So let's see if he does. Okay.
Yeah, this is going to be the Grimguard here.
He
and
does
he is going to
Cypher's
go. So this doesn't quite threaten lethal. He still needs to draw some other kind of damage.
He can do 5 on the face this turn. Get the Oakling in position for the big Oakling play. And,
but I don't think that what is it called? That's the Therian doesn't live long enough, I think. Well, something has to remove the Grimguard.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'd use the Therian for that. You'd go down to 6, and then
actually,
the bomb slinger would only do 4.
I would use the Groove Guardian, I think.
Yeah, the Oakling.
The Oakling should have stepped in and
yeah,
have a bunch of lethal threats there.
The Oakling hasn't moved.
Like a massive misplay.
Yeah, why didn't he do that? Oh no, he missed out on 5 damage. It might not matter.
Too much on keeping that Oakling too close to the base. Now, this Living Will is a little bit awkward. It only actually prevents 1 damage. The combat
he has 3 off. Yeah. If he drew a Freedom Fighter, then he would win the game. But not now. He can't do it now because he has to make land.
He has a very good chance of winning the game anyway. Because he can attack this 4/1 into the Grove Guardian and kill it with Bomb Slinger, which buys him an extra turn now.
Yeah, he has to. He absolutely has to. Because there is 16 damage sitting in his face. He has to take an action to deal with that. And he doesn't have the Freedom Fighter to win the game, so yeah.
And if he draws into something like Cypher's Wrath, that'll probably be the game in favor of Callum here. If he makes that play. Because this Living Will is going to take 2 hits here. So that's 1, and then the second one bring him down to 1, and that would be able to finish that off. So I think Bomb Slinger is definitely the play here. I mean, I guess it's really good that keeps him alive here.
Oh, he drew a card.
He drew a card.
And it's Cypher's Wrath. So he can play Bloodslinger before the Cypher's Wrath.
But what does he remove with Cypher's Wrath?
Well, that's
he runs the Bomb Slinger into the 5/6, plays the Bloodslinger, takes the 5/2, Cypher's Wrath for 2, takes 3 damage till he wins the game.
Oh my god. Oh, he got it! Oh my god, I did not see that. Oh my god, the clutch.
Oh wow. It ended up not mattering at all. He didn't even get the extra turn.
Damn, son.
Oh, wow. Big Daddy Oakling, he didn't even get to hit the orb once. Oh no.
Wow, I actually did not think Callum would get that. Oh god. I was like, great, this is gonna be a best out of 3 whole series. Nice. Nope.
Wow.
That is impressive.
And this red deck
Callum goes
beat up everything.
Yeah,
I can't wait for the 10 minutes until Twitch sees this. I want to see people's reaction. Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
It looks like he had an 8 out of 9 win percentage last round. So this will actually bring it up to what is that? 10 out of 11 games won. And if he's using that red deck, that's an insanely good score for him.
Yeah, I'm curious if he's been using that the whole way through. It seems pretty.
I would assume so when he starts with it and he uses it again. Like it would, when it's. Yeah, I assume that whatever is your first pick is what you play the most.
Because against an unknown opponent, you're probably just going to keep picking the same deck again and again and again.
Yeah, exactly. And have your options in whatever the other 2 decks you submit is.
Yeah. Now, the is small enough that it isn't necessarily unknown each time, but I think that's still a pretty reasonable assumption.
Right. So we have an important question for Atmos that I'm not sure if you can answer it since you've been here.
Sure.
So I'm not sure if you're up to date with what's going on with the tournament and everything. But according to people who's been on a certain life coach stream, he lost to the timer, got so salty that according to people he said on his stream that he basically has dropped out of the entire tournament, like that he's not. No,
He did say that, yep, but that's not entirely true. We're talking to him about it. We've had a conversation with him about it. Yeah, he did have a match with a timer.
Dude,
hurt
he's
him a little bit.
again, according to Twitch, which is not always the most reliable source, but they're
Right.
saying that he commented it on his stream, saying that the time constraints really destroyed his gaming experience. He was not able to think his turns through, made a couple of mistakes because of it, and decided it's not worth it anymore. So yeah, what were you saying?
Oh no, yeah, yep. That's there was that, but we had an internal conversation with him as well. We talked, and we want to make sure everyone's happy. Anyway, basically, we can't really say anything right now, but we're talking about the turn timer. We're talking about the finals. We're talking about what we want to do, and we're aware of that. We talked to him. It's not as bad as you might think. Like, oh my god!
Hey, on Twitch, when somebody rage quits, it's drama everywhere, man.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great player. The thing is, he loves the depth of the game, and if you've ever watched Life Coach, he loves to really just go in deep every single turn, take it to the end, and analyze like every possible thing. Because in Faeria, you can do that. Like you can do that easily every single turn, even on turn 1. You can look at your hand and take the entire turn.
Do I go land? Do I go...
Yeah, there are so many options. So, and he is that type of player. So it's understandable, And of course, he hasn't had time to really, it's his first time using the timer, not really practice with it, having to get used to that. So, and a lot of players have experienced that. So it's something we're talking about. Keep in mind, the timer is something we introduced for the qualifiers to keep the qualifiers so we can be able to complete them in a reasonable amount of time.
This sounds like you might be changing the timer for the playoff.
Don't put words in my mouth. I'm saying that's why we had to put that in, because the qualifiers would just last forever. 256 people, a bracket of that much. Of course, there are dropouts and all that stuff, but it still takes a lot of time. 6 rounds of Swiss with that much time. You could have someone hold the whole bracket up, so we had to have hard timers. Imagine if that weren't the case, how long each round would have been, how much the stress it puts on the players, on you guys, on the streamers, on everybody, on the admins. So there's a reason. There's a really good reason for that timer.
No, I agree.
But there are great points being brought up about it, and we hear it and we're listening, and so it's all about that.
Here's my input. Here's my input about it.
Sure.
I think the timers, there's pros and cons to this, and I think Crow agrees with me when we talk about the commentary side being that we noticed how people just play a lot faster, so there's less analytical space, but also the timers are good because of people playing faster, maybe feeling a bit of a pressure, and it's new, people are getting used to it. 12 minutes we haven't seen a single game really being decided by somebody running out of time.
I have to say, the majority, not to interrupt you, the majority of players like the timer, approve the timer.
Yeah.
Like just from general feedback,
yeah.
The timer is in the majority, well received.
And I think so too, because after now spectating a lot of games, I haven't experienced it myself. I know I'm probably a little bit like Life Coach, not as good, but taking my time with my turns. But it feels like 12 minutes is a good amount. I wouldn't ask for a lower or like a decrease or increase. I actually kind of like the 12 minute, but. Here's the thing going to the playoffs though. I know the plans are obviously with all these famous faces and all these stuff is to stream every game. Then you're not really, then it doesn't matter whether a game lasts a bit longer or a bit shorter because you're still like the next game won't start until whatever the current game is until that's over.
Well, yeah, I completely see what you're saying. And like I said, we're talking about it internally. It's one of the hot topics right now we're talking about, and also with the organizers, right, with Gamers Origin and all that stuff. So,
but it would feel consistent to keep it, though. That's what I want to get to the end. It would feel consistent to have it throughout. But
exactly. So that's the other side of the coin, right? But I did want to get back to what I was saying earlier, where the majority of players do like it, but we do know there are some who don't like it, and we want to find a place where everyone, is happy with it. So just don't assume that because this tournament had 12-minute timers and it was hard cut and you lose when it's done, that's the final version of the tournament format for Faeria. Keep in mind, the whole tournament feature did not exist a week and a half ago. Like this is the rate of production from the dev team. We've basically made this first part of the integrated tournament structure in like a week and a half, and it works pretty well. I mean, I think it works. Actually, we've had no problems at all with it as far as it not working correctly for what it's designed to do. So, we want in the future, we want to have these more options, more features for the timer. We want to rethink the timer. We want to take, the lessons learned from this tournament. The tournament's also a learning experience. It's the first tournament. We're going to get feedback. We're going to learn things, get data from how things work, and we can change things in the future, and we certainly probably will. In regards to everything regarding how tournaments work. So it's baby steps. This is the very first stage of the tournament, the integrated tournament system in Faeria. We think it's working really well. It's being received really well. Is it perfect? No, probably not. But yeah, no, we hear everything. What you guys are telling me, what everyone is saying, we all hear it. We all talk about it. And I guess all we can say is, don't expect this to be the be all end all.
No. At least I don't. I would be surprised. I guess anyone who's new to Faeria coming in now might be like, oh, so this is how it is. But anyone who's been here for a few weeks knows that every tournament has had their own rules, their own structures. Everything is basically up in the air, being tested, tried, figured out. Like it's the definition of early access, I would say.
And one thing I'd like to add, just as far as you guys were talking about learning experience and all that, and it's a little bit from the dev team, trying to learn, feel out the system, figure out what works well. But I think it's also kind of on the players. So you were mentioning that this is the first tournament that everyone has been playing with a timer. So they still have to learn to deal with that timer, how much time they can actually take per turn, and how much they need to conserve that timer. And I think that's problem is even more compounded with Life Coach, because forgive me if I'm not quite up with the times, but he was a little bit late to the party. He really just started streaming this, I want to say, about a week ago or so, and he really doesn't have that much experience with the game yet, so he doesn't have a lot of those instinctual plays that a lot of the more experienced players would have.
He was surprised to see Yellow Flight, I heard. So just that he's not up to date with everything yet.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Life Coach started playing I think about a week ago or whatever. He's been playing a lot, and he plays he likes to play green a lot. If you ever watch his stream, it's really interesting to watch. And he just got God ranked today, I think. And when he broke through, his ELO, his MMR was high enough to put him at rank 6. So
there's a screenshot of that even somewhere.
Yeah. So he obviously knows what he's doing. But he doesn't have that experience, those reflexes you're talking about that a lot of the more experienced players have. Just because the more you play any game, the more you just, I want to do this, click, 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 click. Life Coach, he knows the strategy, like he knows what will work best, but he doesn't have that instinct like you're talking, the muscle memory of, just do this, this. So it hurts the timer, and it hurts him in the timer area.
Yeah, especially against the new decks, like Scrim was mentioning, the Yellow Flying deck. It sounded like he had pretty much no experience with that matchup whatsoever, so it takes him even longer to think of those moves.
To process it, right? Like, what is this? Like, what to expect? And the more experienced players like, I know what's coming, I can just do this. So all good points, all make sense. For sure. But just want to reiterate, the majority, we think it's going very well, but we do, we're looking at it. We got our eyeball on it, but thanks for bringing it up, though. And
no, I promised the guy in Twitch chat who came with it, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, the delay. But I was like, after the matches here, I'll definitely ask him.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so anything else before I go? By the way, I just want to say thanks a lot for having me on again. These past 2 days, you guys have been great. Both you and then Shotgun and Dross over the other stream, the other community stream. It's been going really well. Today was so much better than yesterday because we didn't have that opening battle fee problem in the beginning. Oh my gosh. But luckily today, everything very smooth. The timer was in a better place. I feel the round timer I'm talking about. Was in a better place today. I think a little bit speedier. We're going to finish earlier today for those reasons, so that'll be good. But anything else for me?
For putting this on and for stepping in and taking the time to talk with us like this. We really appreciate all the support that you've given to the competitive scene as well. Yeah,
no problem. And I'm not just speaking from it. This is from all, the whole team is behind the tournament. Not only everyone at Gamers Origin, the admins there, but also, the whole Faeria Abraham team. Has been, really involved in the tournament. And they're all watching, by the way. I don't know if you know. Everyone's watching.
Shit! All the things I said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
It's not guaranteed which stream they're watching, but, they have been watching the whole thing and really, really taking it in, really. And also, for just the state of the game purposes, right? It's a great microscope put down on the game right now. And when you have really, really competitive players with money on the line, with $5,000 on the line, people really take it seriously. It changes the way people play. And that's good because we need to know when the game is taken to the absolute most serious level, what happens, So it's great to have that sort of information to look at.
And dropping a few $1,000s on the line is definitely a great way to do that.
Yeah, just throw money at it; it'll fix itself. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, it's. We plan on doing a lot. Like, we have the $100,000 commitment for the rest of the year. We want.
Oh yeah, question about that then, since Twitch chat asked about it earlier. So we're gonna see another tournament then with 95,000. No, that was not the question. The question was basically, and we just assumed and theorized about it. So now that you're here, $100,000 commitment to the esport. We're assuming that's just purely prize pool money, right?
It says it in the announcement. It's cash prize.
Oh, that's what it says. Okay, I read it when it was posted, so I didn't remember. But yeah, because somebody was like, "Well, how much of that goes to prize? How much goes to production, stuff like that?"
Yeah, no, it's said in the cash prize, $100,000, and this is $5,000 of it. So you can imagine how much more is coming for the rest of the year. This might be the baby tournament. It may not, but just keep that in mind.
Don't say it may not. Like, that's not.
It seems like they have to keep getting bigger from here if you're going to make it up to $100,000.
Hey, the next show match will be like so big.
you do the math. We'll figure it out. But no, this is the first of many.
If Abercam wants to fund another show match for that jokes and I put on, I'm more than happy to accept any money you want to give to that.
I mean, that's what we'll do. But at the end of the year, if we haven't reached it, we'll just put you two together and we'll say, all right, the rest of the money show match. No, I'm just kidding. But no, this is the first of many.
Casters and.
My point is basically, first of many more to come. Lots more prizes to come. Different formats, improved features. So I think we're off to a really great start.
Oh, yeah.
I really am impressed with how well it's gone. Better than even I expected. There's a little bit of a rough lead up to the tournament, a little bit of rough start in the first qualifier. But I mean, everything has been really smooth, and the players have enjoyed it, have had a good time in the vast majority of cases. So I think we can really only improve from here. That's basically my thoughts.
Sounds great, man. Right. We're happy to be part of it, and hopefully we'll be part of many more things to come.
Yeah, great. I hope so too. And thanks again. And you guys have a good rest of the stream. Enjoy round 6. There should be some good games, and I'll be watching. So.
Sounds good. Thanks for stopping by.
It sounded like Batman there.
I'll be watching. All right, take it easy, guys.
All right.
Have a good one.
Take care, man. Bye.
All right. That means that him disconnecting from that call here will probably completely screw up our webcam again.
No, I planned for this ahead, so I'm just waiting for him to. Actually, can't I just? Oh yeah, I removed him from the group already. Boom, easy.
Go.
But
Perfect.
why is your webcam not?